where it all began 10 years ago. In this room, we would come here on Friday mornings and work for a few hours trying to put together the strategic plan and what is it that we want to accomplish and why were we even doing it, right? The why was the big question for us.
The why for me was more around the purpose. I just felt so empty in terms of my day-to-day activities. I wanted to do something I was excited about again. I felt like I was giving back to the community and that was more a part of my life.
That's exactly what we would talk about when we would get together before we started Ingage, is this feeling of, we're successful in our careers, we're doing what we thought we were destined to do, but it just felt flat, it felt empty, and trying to think through how do we blend our professional work with more of a purpose, giving back to the community, and how do you do both at the same time. And that's where we started researching what is it that we want to do different, and we came across the B Corp model. And that B Corp model is really what solidified, this is the path that we should take. Trying to be a business for good and operating differently, and trying to be an inspiration to not only the people that we are working with, but our clients and the greater community.
I think what's really amazing is that we originally started out, this is for us. It wasn't about anybody else. It wasn't about, what somebody else wanted. It was what did we want? And I think it was awesome how it's transitioned to it's about everybody else. So it's not about what you and I do anymore. It's about what the whole team is doing.
So Matt, we had lots of conversations before you joined the team. We first met at a nonprofit event, and you were inspired by what we were trying to do, leaving a big corporate job. Why did you do it?
So I was in an inflection point in my career too. I mean, I was really liking what I was doing, sure, from a technology point of view, building software. But there wasn't a lot of purpose in my job from a community standpoint. And meeting you at that nonprofit event, and then having that lunch later that month, you describing what the B Corp model was and how you could combine the two things is really what caused me to make the jump and leave my big corporate job.
And you're here 10 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
So Andy, you were employee number one. What made you take the leap?
At the time, I was working as a independent contractor, and I knew that's not something I wanted to do for a long period of time. And so I felt like I wanted to go, though, somewhere that would combine both consulting with a purpose, which is what the two of you mentioned. And I felt like Ingage really offered both of those. And I knew it was a young company. I knew there was a risk in going to Ingage. But I also felt like I could really add value and experience in going and starting kind of a new chapter.
The first person I met was Lisa. We met at a coffee shop as well, and I wasn't quite sure what your business model was. I knew you were a small company. I like that, a startup, and she explained it to me, and it was very interesting at me at that point. I didn't quite knew how that would pan out in the long end. How you would actually be a consultant and also be a force for good in the community. But throughout the years, I've kind of grown to understand more and more how you can actually do that, especially when we grew every year, and how that could really have a bigger and bigger impact each year. So I realized pretty quickly I made a good choice.
Yeah, I also remember how Michael and Kelly wanted to mature the business, so they moved us out of Red Tree here into an attic on the third floor of an office building that you had to duck when you were in certain parts of it, and there was this conference room that we were a small company, but the conference room was probably, good thing we don't have that anymore, because it probably only fit like 6 people comfortably, but by the time we left there we were like 13, 15 people. So yeah, it was pretty tight.
So I think when we moved to Observatory is when things really started to feel like a family, because we basically moved into a house.
Mm-hmm. It was a house that was 100 years old that converted to an office space. It was, and the team that we continued to build, we moved into that space with probably about 15 people, and then eventually moved out of it with probably 60. So that was, it was a special place to be.
Yeah, what I remember has stayed the same is the family feel. That was Lisa brought me day one at the coffee shop. I felt like, okay, this seems to be like a tight-knit family. And even though we've grown a lot during these 8 years, 10 years, I still feel like we still have that family feel. And I think that's what hasn't changed.
And I think to Marco's point, we've always had that family feel, even though people have come and gone. And even though we lost like Lisa Kaminsky, you know, we've never lost that sense of family, you know, along the way.
We spent a lot of time talking about how we build into community. That's why we started. That was the why in it. But we don't talk as much about the what we do. You know, we're out serving clients every day, helping them solve some really complex challenges in their business and really helping improve how they operate and what they do. When you think about all the clients that you have served over the last 10 years, what do you think is the most impactful thing that we offer to our clients?
So the most important thing we do is build a relationship with our clients. We're not just there to fill seats, pound keyboards. We're there to actually build these long-term relationships and deliver what the client really needs. And you know, clients that we haven't heard from for years still come back to us because of that.
And I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, we've had like 70 clients, maybe 400 projects over the years that we've done, from very small clients to very large clients. So we really have done a lot of work for a lot of companies in the area, and some outside the area as well.
I think one of the most important things over the last 10 years was learning to be fair and consistent and being equitable for everybody, not bending the way to kind of fit a situation here or there. I think the other was just both being equally invested in building the organization, wanting to build into the community and what was best for each other. I think we've seen a lot of partnerships fail because they weren't all in, and I think that's a struggle. And I think that's what I'm excited about most as we look forward, is being an employee-owned company and the fact that we are all in this together, and that we want what's best for all of our families and our extended families, whether that's launching new service offerings or acquiring other businesses in other geographic areas. I'm really excited about the future.
I'm so thankful for our team and the people that have come around us and our clients, and I can't wait to see what the future holds.